Hello, hello, hello. This is Rich Kale here on YouTube. Rich Gen X elsewhere. And it's time to start a new adventure. That's right. We're taking on Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. Now, this is the first of this franchise that I have. So I do not know if I will be getting more of these games or not. This is the, quote, director's cut. So, let us begin this adventure.
Paris. City of love, romance, and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too. But ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death.
I don't have a good history with this game company, I don't think. Broken Sword. The last game I played by this company was Lure of the Temptress.
I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Oh.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away. Here I was, the palace of the Media King and the Ice Queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation.
I'm gonna have to turn on captions if there are any.
Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty? You're too kind, madame.
Uh-oh.
Ah, the talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father? He never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose. Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
Well, that's definitely a way
You
to get
journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame. That was no cat.
God, what? Monsieur Carson!
Ouch!
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the Mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation? It was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Okay, let's, see, audio, no. See. Resolution, credits. No, I don't want to purchase the music. Okay. I mean, I can't, there's no closed captioning on this. Well, buggery. This is just to, Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, I know. Now. Interface, help, puzzle hints. Okay, don't need that. Okay. Alright, so I can't turn on closed captioning? That's a bugger. This is something I missed. Do I have closed captioning? I'd love it if it did. Alright. Oh! Subtitles, yes. Speech. Okay, so I do have subtitles. It just didn't show up for that first bit. Bugger on that. Alright, let's see if we can... Let's see.
A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job. The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
Okay. Alright, let's check the body out.
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before, and written about him. The costume killer. At least that's what I'd called him.
Ooh. Looks like a
It
hair
was one
clip.
of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down. Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend. I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow. Carchon had been shot.
What's this?
In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now.
Yeah, there isn't. Well, alright. Well,
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them. A Louis XIV table with an antique cloth. Imelda had taste. But hey, with a husband that rich, taste is easy.
oh.
I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
Oh, what's this?
Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole. There was a tiny hole in the tabletop. Part of the inlay had been chipped away.
Yeah, I see that. No.
Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff.
So what the heck is this?
Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming.
But what exactly did I just grab? Okay, hopefully. There we go. What's this?
Imelda had talent, but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that. It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine. Just the colour I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this paint. It's my favourite colour.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Amazing that she's now showing some, emotion.
Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
I am so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Thierry Collard?
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
Touché.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you anything.
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way.
Why would a mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris for a start. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronize me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if. My editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
Your husband invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong. I was onto his killers already, I am sure of it. Please, you owe it to him.
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people. And perhaps Pierre really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you too. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret this.
Well. I'll admit this is not what I was expecting.
The door was locked. Now we were getting somewhere.
Good for you. What's this?
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision. My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant.
Oh?
It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin. Carved
Whoa.
into a box he had made. So Carchon had known my father. They really must have been friends. I decided to take the carved elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Imelda. I didn't want to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it. I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank. I didn't...
Alright. Let's put this painting over here.
The painting showed the Carchons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
Be honest, that could have been anywhere.
There was the very faintest of clicks.
Oh!
Behind the picture was a safe. The safe was locked.
I thought I did that.
In the safe was some kind of artifact. There were strange symbols on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read. I needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Carchon was past caring.
You know what?
I smeared the paint all over the cloth. When I do messy, I really like to put my heart into it. I hoped this was going to help. They don't make lace like that anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I wiped the paint-covered cloth over the surface of the stone cylinder. It took me right back to art class at school. And Maurice, my gorgeous art teacher. Such a shame they had to fire him. Ah well. Concentrate, Nico, concentrate. Genius! The roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say?
Judice SDSSDSS.
It was some kind of coded message. It read, Subjudice. I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense. I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The Conciergerie on the Ile de la Cité, by the river, housed the ancient law courts. So, subjudice could in this case mean literally under the law courts, below the Conciergerie. I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
Well, in America, that's the Pulitzer. I had ruined that lace cloth, but I think it was better than,
Did you find anything useful?
This carving, do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend. Something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No. But I think it was important to him. Always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Imelda, I will do everything I can to find the killer.
Thank you, my dear.
And if the police ask,
Don't worry. You were never here.
subjudice was the key. I was going to have to find a way under the Conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the Conciergerie, it would have to be from there. Canchon wasn't the type for messing about on the river. He was up to something down here. Something that got him killed.
anything here? Okay.
The fence wouldn't move.
Okay. So the fence wouldn't move. Let's try the second fence.
This fence wouldn't move either.
What's this thing here?
The cross looked familiar. I'd seen it before. It was embroidered on the lace cloth I'd picked up at Carchon's apartment. I knew I was on the right track.
Oh! I'm sorry I used that.
I tried pushing the fence, but it wouldn't move. A strange pair of locks stopped the latches from releasing the gate.
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's one of these puzzles. I hate these puzzles! Two. 3. I don't think I have a walkthrough for this. I always hated these kinds of puzzles. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Itchy nose. 16. 17. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
Yes! One down, one to go.
Thank God I had that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, ba-boom.
Nothing like a good convent education for honing your lockpicking skills.
Okay. Well.
For a room full of junk, that was one very sophisticated lock system.
Yeah,
This
it was.
place was definitely fishy. In more ways than one.
What's this?
Oops.
Whoa, what's this?
An old shell case. I wondered what that was doing there. The brass case was smooth and perfectly round.
Okay.
The words sinister and Dexter were carved on either side. Now any good convent girl like me knows the old Roman for left, right, left, right. But what did it mean here? Mystery solved. Carchon's stone cylinder slotted into the hole with a satisfying click.
S.
A satisfying click told me I turned it to the right position. It felt like tumblers in a safe.
D.
Another click. Another step closer.
Whoa.
I love the sound of locks clicking open. I removed the stone cylinder.
Yeah, it makes sense. Whoa.
Oh my god! The slab came down with a hell of a force. With nothing to hold it up, the cross dropped back down again.
Okay.
Lifting the cross closed the entrance door and also opened some kind of stone panel. Ingenious.
This would fit with Templar stuff.
The stone slab had flattened one end of the shell case. The stone cross was propped up. Now I was getting somewhere. I touched the slot. Nothing bad happened, which was good. I've always been attached to my fingers. This slot was designed for something specific. But what?
Okay, let's try that. Oh.
The artifact slotted into the hole perfectly. Behind the old walls, I could hear some kind of mechanism groaning into life, but whatever had been triggered had now jammed. I removed the shell case. The cross didn't drop back down. Some kind of mechanism was holding it up.
What we got here? Another door?
The gap was too thin for me to get a grip. I needed something thin enough to prise the door open.
Well, we do have something thin enough to do that. My.
Another good use for a shell case. Another secret room. Somebody had something to hide. But was it what I was looking for?
No, let's see.
Wow. Through the darkness, I could see that this was a stateroom. But for what purpose? And how did it tie in with Carchon?
Good question. We need light in here. Well, we have something here. What is it?
Amazing. The thing still worked. The room lit up bright as day.
They're definitely finding some things. My God.
It was pretty clear from the lack of dust that someone had been working very recently at this desk.
So what we...
Oh my God! The sheet was a printout with my personal information. Everything from my favorite food to my waist size. They were right about chocolate, but come on guys, I'm a size 10. There was even a picture of me, taken with a telephoto lens. Carchon wouldn't have taken these pictures himself. This was big and organized. I was part of it, and people were getting murdered. One thing was clear. Someone connected to Carchon had been watching me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing. This was the article I'd written about the costume killer. My suspicions were right. Carchon had cut it out. 2 businessmen had been killed. One in Italy, one in Japan. In each case, the killer had worn a costume, a penguin, and then a snowman. But that wasn't the only link between the 2 murders. Both the victims had been big media do-gooders, and I proved they were just the opposite. So, how did they fit in with Carchon?
Curious.
My articles about the costume killer.
What's this?
The dregs at the bottom of the mug hadn't dried out or gone moldy. It wasn't more than a day old. The congealed coffee wasn't appealing.
Interesting.
Inside the drawer, I found a note written in some kind of code.
Gotta be careful with those.
Damn, don't you just hate it when that happens?
Yeah, I do.
A photo, long lost, had fallen down the back of the drawer. It was very old, but there was no mistaking the guy in the foreground. Carchon. Behind him were soldiers, a burning village, and a corpse. The photograph was cropped on the right-hand side. Somebody else in the picture obviously didn't want to be in it anymore. I wasn't surprised. This was Africa in the 60s. An uprising was being brutally suppressed. And here was Mr. Media himself, Carchon, doing the suppressing. The photograph was not just powerful evidence. It was also my ticket to one explosive story.
Well, let's look at this other thing. This using a substitution cipher. This means a different symbol has been used to represent each letter of the alphabet. To crack the code, you must correctly match all the symbols to their corresponding letters. Highlight a symbol, and then highlight the corresponding letter. If you make a mistake, click on the Go Back button to step back. Or you can reset the whole puzzle by clicking the Reset button. Alright. Well, let's start with this here. So that symbol there. That's a loan. Whenever you get a loan, it's either going to be I or A. Let's do it that A. This is probably just an initial something. So we got... Okay. mean, I do have an answer in front of me, but now these two are the same, so I can only think of an L that would go with that. Now we have two others here, this and this. That could mean this is an N. So let's see, try an N here with that squiggle. There, yeah. No, it don't look right. You son of a bitch, I hit the wrong button. Okay, that symbol goes with the L. Let's try this with the N then. Looks better. And this symbol, which is that, so I'm gonna put that with a D. Could this be E? That makes sense. Dead. That could either be an O or an I, but I have a feeling... Yeah, O looks better. And I'm gonna think that's an R. So, I think it's going to be... See, this symbol goes with... No. And I lost the N. I think that's going to be a T there for that symbol. Okay, so I think this is going to make that an F. So that symbol goes with a U. Full report to Viva. I would think that would be a W. To Urint. Or so, it's going to be G. That's going to go with this symbol here. Oh! Okay, so this goes with... Okay, Pierre, full report to follow, but this is too urgent to wait. Arno and both dead. This is not a... Okay, so that's going to be a C. Coincidence. This is not a coincidence. Indeed, it's C... Ah, that symbol's going to go with an M. Indeed, it seems that all of us who came together are in danger. That's going to be a K. Met in... Oh! Oh! So that's gonna be a J. This is gonna be a Y. Both Arno and Yamada are both dead. And the only way you sign that anonymously...
I had decrypted the note. It read, Pierre. Full report to follow. But this is too urgent to wait. Arno and Yamada both dead. This is not a coincidence. Indeed, it seems that all of us who came together in July are in danger. Take great care. X. I wasn't the only one to make the connection between the costume killer murders. I'd been right all along. That was why he had asked to meet me. But what did I know that he didn't? I had enough for a story. An amazing story that was going to make my reputation and blow Conscience to pieces. I needed to get home fast and start typing.
Nico's apartment that evening. Oh.
Bonsoir, Collard.
Nico, it's Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, you cracked open the champagne yet?
Are you crazy?
What's wrong? Wait a minute. You didn't print it, did you?
Of course I didn't print.
That's the best piece I've written.
The last, as far as I'm concerned.
It's important.
It's suicidal. You can't destroy a national hero.
He deserved it.
His corpse isn't even cold.
Ronnie, 2 hours ago I told you what I'd found. You loved it. You begged me to write it up immediately.
2 hours is a long time in newspapers, Nico.
Someone's got to you, haven't they?
Listen up, Nicole, and listen good. Pierre Carchon had a lot of friends. Powerful friends. For your own sake.
Forget what happened.
You got it. End of conversation. Good night.
This should have been my big break, but I knew there was nowhere else to sell this story. If Ronnie wouldn't print it, nobody would.
Oh, another phone call.
Bonsoir, Collard.
Mademoiselle Collard, my name is Plantard. I need to talk to you about your story. Your Pierre Carchon story.
How did you know about that?
There are people out there, madame, who will be very upset by this story.
Oh, really? Well, it's their lucky day. It's been spiked.
Yes, I know. We must meet.
We must?
I have information relating to your costume killer stories. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., Café de la Chandelle Verte, Rue Alain Court. I shall be wearing a grey overcoat. You must talk to no one about this.
You can't tell me what to...
Tomorrow at 8. I'll be waiting.
People complain about newspaper articles all the time, but not usually before they're printed. I was beginning to feel scared. This guy, Plantard, could I trust him? Should I meet him or forget the whole business? I didn't have an answer.
No, I think she's gonna be meeting him.
I'd only been in Paris for a week, but already I'd fallen in love with the city. My latest discovery was a little cafe, La Chandelle Verte. I was pretty sure the waitress was taking a shine to me. That old Stobart charm, I guess. Little did I know my reverie was about to be so rudely interrupted.
Well, fuck.
As I picked myself up, I was really angry. 1 minute I'm on vacation, the next minute some clown's blown me up. I knew right away what I was gonna do. I was gonna find that clown and bring him to justice. Because justice matters. Justice is up there with liberty, and equality, and, fraternity. After all, that's why I'd studied law, wasn't it? Well, that, no, money, of course.
Alright. Well, alright, well, this is, definitely a good point to call an episode. And if you made it this far in the recording, in the playthrough, please put in the comments, damn clowns. And when we get back to this, we're going to find out. We're going to continue this case with this other guy. And I have a feeling that things are just going to get crazier and crazier from this point on. Especially when it comes to a goat. Anyhow, until then, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, RichGenX elsewhere. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and check out all the other playthroughs that premiere on the channel. They premiere every day at 3 o'clock in a 2-week cycle, where besides this, I will be working through other games like Grim Fandango, since I just finished the Full Throttle. The Shantae series, currently on Shantae and the Seven Sirens, the last of that at the time of this recording. Runs through the game of Monstrum. I'm working my way through Aquaria, working my way through the Leisure Suit Larry series, currently on Leisure Suit Larry Wet Dreams Don't Dry. I'm working my way through working my way through Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods Part 1. I'm also working my way through The Evil Within and a bunch of others. Also at 10 a.m. I have stuff that premieres. Sunday mornings, Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3 remastered until it's done. Monday mornings, nothing. Tuesday mornings, fic readings. Wednesday mornings, one of the first 7 Final Fantasies, first 3 Final Fantasy Legends, or Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger. Thursday morning, usually Dead by Daylight. Friday morning, a fighting game, ladder or story mode, if I have any, that I'm working on. And Saturday is usually for a retrospective for a game or series I have finished the story mode on. So, until next time, I would like you all to take care and have fun. Bye all!